When I first came to Hamilton, I thought people came from private school or boarding school, and that they came from mostly, I guess, rural areas because it's such a small place.
I thought that the average or the regular Hamilton student would be would be a combination of either public school, private school, rural, city. I thought there would be quite a bit of diversity. At Hamilton, it seems like the admissions department was making an effort to choose a variety of students with a variety of backgrounds in order to make for a more diverse student body.
I thought that the typical student would most likely be someone that had a private education. Since it's a private school, it's kind of smaller. I'm from Pittsburgh, and the only people that I know from Pittsburgh that go to places like Hamilton and Amherst and Williams have gone to private school. So I just assumed that's like the type of person.
Being at a boarding school, a private school, I thought most of the students that would go to Hamilton would be from a private institution like the one I was at, and they would probably be white, well off.
I was unsure about the educational background of the students that would be here. I knew students that were both public and private school students. I myself went to a public school.
So I went to a public school, and I came into Hamilton expecting a lot of people to be from private schools. I think it might have been like the reputation of the school, sort of like the standing, where it was placed. I just thought like, Northeastern people with money. I don't know. Yeah, I guess a lot of it was sort of unfounded and not really backed up, but I just sort of had it in my head that it would be like it wasn't as much like I'm expecting for people to be from private schools or boarding schools. It was more like I will be behind in my educational background coming here.
Rural, private school. Just kind of from what I saw on the page, I guess from the Hamilton page that is, I guess the way that the classrooms were arranged were very different from my own. I went to an inner city public school, and just like the budget, the resources, things like that seemed to be a lot different from what I was used to. And I was assuming that since it was attracting, I was assuming that it was attracting the same type of people who were kind of used to this setting.
I guess I thought that most kids either came from like private school or a public school in like a wealthier area.
I was pretty sure that most people were going to have had more experience with AP classes and that kind of thing than my high school. I went to a public school in Central Maine, and I knew that there were a lot of people who were going to have gone to private school who would have had probably more rigorous and more opportunities to take rigorous courses.
When I got to Hamilton, I was surprised that actually a lot of people are from other cities, like bigger cities like California, LA, some people from Manhattan. So I think that really surprised me that we're all coming from this different background, and also that it's just a different life than in different cities. So they come to a small town, have been in different cities, and these educational systems that were private, public, and just very diverse in itself. So that we're all like here and able to function in the same way.
Met a lot of people from private school, a lot of people from public school, from higher and lower socioeconomic areas, although the vast majority seem to tend towards private and public schools that are better off economically.
When I got here, I noticed that a lot of my peers had went to private schools, and I was actually one of the only people that I knew in my immediate friend group my freshman year that didn't go to a private school. I was also pleasantly surprised to meet people that had pretty different backgrounds than I had. I really liked actually learning about their private school experience. It was kind of fun to hear their stories and to see like what their education experience has been like, how it's been different to my own. But also I realized that there were a lot of similarities. So we learned about the same things, we had similar experiences, but it was really fun to kind of hear about something that I didn't experience.
So even though there were a lot of people from public schools, I felt like the resources that they had access to was a lot more than my own. So it didn't really make a difference to me. It was sort of just like there was the type of public school like my own, and then there were other schools that were better.
And I still think that most people were from, that majority of schools that are on the better side of the scale.
And was pleasantly surprised to find out that more people than I thought ended up going to similar schools and having similar experiences, especially in high school that I had. So that was nice. But I was also surprised that my definition of private school differed a lot from sort of the experiences that those people who were, I keep saying private school, had. So it kind of changed my idea of what private school is all about, because I hadn't really thought of like the boarding school aspect or what sort of classes and what the dynamics of a private school are compared to a public school. So
And actually, I think the biggest difference was that, not that I was surprised at how many people went to private school, but how different their high school experience was than mine.